start noticing the player, how he can dribble, run the court, drive, shoot, and score. This 15-year-old can play.
Not made me different at all on the inside. I mean, it just makes me stronger, play harder.
I was born in Huntington Beach, California. When I was born with what's called PFFD, which is one leg basically shorter than the other. So that was a huge challenge for my parents at that time. They had some serious decisions to make, whether to just amputate it. There was a group of people that wanted them to flip my ankle backwards. They ended up going and picking another option, which was having a couple surgeries and using my ankle as my knee. The surgery did not go good. Halfway through the process of healing, I had a huge cast on, and I remember telling my mom and dad, yo, this hurts. It really hurts. And they're like, I know, Robert, I know it hurts. And turns out when we went to get the cast off, part of my bone was sticking out of my skin. Needless to say, they were pretty upset. From that point, they took me to the Boston Red Sox doctor. So I flew back to Boston, spent a lot of time, went in a full body cast, and had a successful surgery. My parents decided on a prosthetic leg that had not been made to this point. The doctors that I was seeing at UCLA didn't want to make it, but there was a specific doctor there who was willing to do that. His name was Mark Mosley. So because UCLA didn't want to support it, Mark invited me to his house and saw me out of his garage and literally made the leg, which they called the Brooks leg, out of his garage. And we did that for years, and it was extremely successful. He actually ended up getting fired for his work with us. Yeah, he fired us. So growing up, I had an awesome childhood. My parents were outstanding. I excelled at basketball, baseball, football, won a high jump in middle school. I had a great time. I had tons of friends, girlfriends, the whole nine. It was a good time. My leg was a piece of me, but it wasn't what I was all about. I used to joke that my leg was about as important as the color of my car, black, but just that important. It was just a part of the story. So when I was around 6 or 7, I became a real dominant basketball player. That lasted until I was 15. Right around 12, 13, 14, I started to get a lot of media attention. A kid running around playing with one leg and doing as well as I did garnered a lot of attention. My dad was a high school basketball coach, so there was that angle as well. There was a specific time where I was 9 for 11 from three-point range, playing Mater Dei, which is a local, huge high school. And the LA Times did a story right around that time, front page, entitled Uncommon Valor. When I was in high school, Tim Floyd, who was then the head coach of the Chicago Bulls, saw a piece that aired on me by Fox Sports. Chris Rose, who now does Talkin' Baseball, one of my favorite shows, he was the lead anchor on that. Coach Floyd said he really liked what I was about, what I stood for, how I played, and he invited me out to listen to the Chicago Bulls film session and go to the game when they played the Lakers. After getting to know Coach Floyd, I let him know I wanted to be a basketball coach, and he said he wanted to help me. He offered me a position as a student assistant coach at Louisiana State University for his then friend John Brady. I took that into consideration. I decided I want to go to USC. I had a disabled athlete scholarship there from Swim with Mike. It was an organization that did that, who was awesome to me. And then turns out, so I went to USC. I worked for the basketball program for 1 year there. Then USC out of nowhere hired Tim Floyd to be the head coach. So I worked for Coach Floyd for the last 3 years of my time there. When I got started with Coach Floyd, he gave me a job. I was washing clothes and carrying water and all kinds of anything that needed to be done, I was willing to do. By the time I left, I was helping with recruiting, doing on-court coaching, managing all academics, and we had some real high-level players coming through. During my time at USC, I was fortunate to help coach Taj Gibson, Nick Young, both of whom had excellent NBA careers. I helped recruit OJ Mayo and DeMar DeRozan. I lived with and coached Nikola Vukovic at Stone Ridge Prep, who then went on to USC and has become an NBA All-Star. During my last year at USC, we went to the Sweet 16 by defeating Kevin Durant and the Texas Longhorns. That was a great year. After my time at USC, I took a co-head coaching job at Stone Ridge Prep, which was an international prep school where many foreign superstar basketball players would come play. There I coached Nikola Vukovic and lived with him for over a year. Got to know him real well. He's now an NBA All-Star center. After my time at Stone Ridge Prep, I got my long-awaited break. Coach Floyd hooked me up with a guy named James Green, who was the head coach at Jacksonville State University. He offered me a job to be the youngest Division I assistant coach in the nation. It was the break I had been hoping for and fighting for years. By the time I got that opportunity at Jacksonville State, by that time, my body was broken. My back was in shambles, and it was a tough time. Because of the dynamic of my relationship with other coaches and players, I didn't tell anybody about that. I wasn't going around telling anybody how in pain I was or how much I was hurting. I just dealt with it the best way I could. I was pushing my body to the maximum limits. I was 320 milligrams of Oxycontin just to get by. I mean, the pain was incredible. It was stepping out of bed every morning on one foot and going straight to the ground because it was that painful. It's hard to describe. When you're in that much pain, it's hard to even hold a thought. But I got around that with the 320 milligrams of Oxycontin, Adderall to help me focus, and Lunesta at night to go to sleep. And that's how I did it, and that's how I was able to maintain that level of intensity that coaching college basketball requires to get where I wanted to go and do what I wanted to do. It got so bad, the other coaches on the coaching staff said, "Rob, you need to get checked." And this is something that I had kept from everybody. They saw that I was hurting, but it's not something I discussed. So I went and got an MRI, and I brought the results to my pain management doctor. And when she delivered them to me, she was in tears. She started crying. And I said, "It's all right, it's okay. I don't know exactly what it says, but I know it's not good, so don't worry, it's okay." And she says, "You have 2 broken bones in your back, you have 2 bulging discs, and you have 2 pinched nerves. And it's gonna be a struggle." My desire to be a great and successful basketball coach really helped numb the pain of the daily physical grind. It was a tough time. It was a real tough time. Jacksonville State asked about the results. I didn't give them that information. If you give anybody that information, any sane person would be like, "You can't do this anymore. You gotta go tend to a broken back," and that was not what I was trying to hear. Jacksonville State ended up not working out. I came home to California, bounced around to a couple places, and ended up getting the head coaching job at Orangewood Academy. At Orangewood Academy, I was there for 1 year, and we won a CIF championship. That was the first in the school's history. After our championship season at Orangewood, it was time to go out recruiting, networking, talking to college coaches, talking to players, talking to parents. I walked into a local high school to do that, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. I was in so much pain. I had sacrificed so much to get where I was, and I just quite simply didn't want to do it anymore. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I realized I did not want to do that. I had recently got a German Shepherd, Jamie. She meant the world to me. I would like to spend a little bit more time with her, take care of her. But I had a lot of things to figure out. My time coaching basketball was over. I was still in a tremendous amount of pain. I was in a bad marriage. I was overweight, on disability, and had no money. And worst of all, I had very little hope. Coaching basketball was my life's work. It was my dream. And I decided I didn't want to do it anymore. I asked God for what seemed like it was an impossible task, to heal my back. I spent the next 6 months hanging out with my dog, Jamie. She was an amazing companion at a really tough time. After those 6 months, one morning I woke up and the pain was significantly less. And I thought, what a great time to stop taking painkillers and to move on with the rest of my life. So I stopped taking painkillers. I figured, honestly, what's the worst that could happen? I'm not gonna die. So I stopped the next morning. And later that day, I dropped my ex off at a concert in downtown LA and drove home with no painkillers in me at all. It was a tough drive and a tough time too. It was a tough time. So I stopped, I cut it all out. I went to my last pain management doctor appointment and let my doctor know, hey, I was not gonna take pain medication anymore. I didn't need it. And she was so excited and so happy. And she said, okay, it's gonna be a long process. We're gonna get you through it over the next 6 months. We're gonna wean you off. And I said, I actually stopped last Tuesday. And she started crying and she hugged me and she says, wow, that was great. Now it was time to get back into shape. I weighed 185 pounds with my leg off. It was significantly too much. I wanted to be able to take care of myself, take care of my 2 German Shepherds. So I started reading. I always had the conscious thought that people who are alone on an island, they can last a certain amount of time based on how big they were. So I figured if I stopped eating as much and as often, I would probably lose a lot of weight. That thought led me to Dr. Jason Fung's book on fasting, A Complete Guide to Fasting. I formulated a plan to eat for 4 hours a day and fast the other 20. That would help me lose weight fast and stay in shape. I was also on a rigorous workout routine. I started my day by waking up at 3:40. We'd bounce up, take the dogs to the park, get their exercise in. I would come back and I would do my workout. My workout was 200 perfect push-ups, 200 sit-ups, 600 jump ropes, and as fast as I could do it. Now when I started doing that workout, it took me about an hour and 45 minutes. By the end, I got it down to about 11 minutes. I started eating almost all meat, very low carbs. The consistency to my workout was key. I pushed through a broken foot, a broken hand, but honestly, none of that pain was even close to what I had dealt with my back. Finally, I was able to get my body in shape and my pain under control. Now I was looking for a new passion. Throughout this time, I was playing a lot of video games, a lot of Battlefield. A couple of the people I played with, Outlaw and a girl named Taste My Juices, told me I'd be real good at streaming. I was new to streaming. I had no idea what it was about or why people even watched. I had accumulated a following on Battlefield. I had about 800 friends on my PlayStation network. And I decided I wanted to start streaming. So what I did was I wrote all 800 of those people a personal note and said, hey, in a couple months I'm gonna start streaming. Here's my link. If you wanna give me a follow, that would be awesome. I had about 350 subscribers before I even got started. Within a few months, I had 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and was monetized. Battlefield Firestorm was the game I was playing. It was losing popularity, but the channel was going great. I had some more tough choices to make. I needed to make money. I needed to get out of a bad marriage. A guy who I had been playing Battlefield with offered me an opportunity to work for his roofing company. I don't know anything about roofing, but he was a good guy and he thought I would be good at it. So I decided to pick up all I had. I rented a truck. I put the dogs in the truck. We spent every last dollar on that move, and I got out to Dallas, Texas. So there I am in Dallas, Texas, working for my buddy. I'm on a rooftop. It's about 101 in August. And it started out slow. Work started slow. Company didn't get as much business as they were previously getting. A couple of months went by. He stopped by my house and said, hey, work has just been much slower than we expected. He said, you need to get another job for the time being. I said, alrighty, well, I'm here for this. I'm gonna have to make a plan. I stopped, I thought about it. I said, man, the stream's doing real well. I'm doing about 5-6 hours a day. What if I turned it up to 9 or 10 hours a day and invested more of my time and effort into it? I decided to do that. The extra time and effort that we put into the channel really started to pay off. Right around this time, my buddy, Gnarly Harley, told me I had to see what he called the hottest girl on Twitch. Turned out to be Jenna. I went into her chat, I was like, oh man, she's freaking awesome. Super authentic, Italian-American, New Jersey girl, loud, brash, funny. I was definitely not looking for a girlfriend, but when I saw her, I was like, yo, I gotta jump in there and get involved. So I jumped in her stream, said what's up to her. That turned into DMs on Instagram, and we started to really get along very well. So Jenna was in New Jersey, I was in Texas. We decided we wanted to be together though. I told her from the second I met her, I said, look, I have no money. I have a fake leg that doesn't fit right. The job that I moved here for wasn't going well. But I had some other things I could offer. I was tough and I was loving, and I was gonna try to do some big things on YouTube. One thing that really drew me to Jenna early on, made me really like her even more than I had already did. One of my dogs, City, had a skin condition. Jenna had worked at an animal hospital previously. I sent her a picture of it. I didn't know how serious it was. It started to get a little worse, so I sent her a picture. She said I need to stop streaming right away and go take care of it. I did that. I went to the doctor. They said it was gonna be $500 to complete the procedure. And honestly, at that time, it was a little tough. Money was a little tough. The stream was just getting going here, and she didn't even hesitate. She sent me $500 before even meeting my dogs or me, and that really stuck with me. So Jenna and I decided it was time for her to leave the tech company and move in down in Texas. She did that. We're having a great time. From there, we decided it was time to move to Florida to be a little closer to family, her family specifically. Some of my family is down here as well. We picked up a couple more German Shepherds. Now we got 4. My channel is doing outstanding. The super chat, the membership, the subscribers, we're working our butts off at it. It's going great. Jenna has transitioned to YouTube. Her channel is on fire. She's killing it. She's so much fun to watch, and we're having a great time. I asked Jenna to marry me. She said yes. We got some stuff we want to take care of now. We want to get a house. We want to have a baby. We want to keep being successful, keep pushing, keep trying to be better. After making the transition from Battlefield Firestorm to Call of Duty Warzone, our channel has been doing awesome. Way more subscribers, a lot more support. Growing our community has been outstanding. When I'm performing, the confidence that you see, it's not because I'm good at the game. It's not because I have 40,000 subscribers. It's because all those battles and all those fights that I detailed earlier, that's where my confidence comes from, overcoming and taking on some of these challenges head on and coming out on the right side. Something I've learned in my life, how you see yourself, incredibly important. If you see yourself as some victim who's always getting the rough end of the stick and you're just barely making it and you can never do anything perfect and you're never doing anything right, then when it's time to go work out, you're probably not gonna do it. But if you see yourself as a warrior, you can take on any task, then all of a sudden when you need to go work out, you're ready to roll. How you see yourself is who you become.
How are you gonna feel sorry for a guy that's better than anybody you know at the game? You can't really feel sorry for him if he's beating you.
A closer look reveals Brooks was born to succeed. don't tell me how rocky the sea is, just bring the darn ship in. And that really, I really felt like that applied to my life a lot.